He didn't lift his eyes. I swear that stillness hit harder than if he'd yelled, but he counted the seconds. Karen was already yelling. Something about trespassing, then the hiss, pepper spray against steel. The cop stood still. No hands moved, only Eli's thumb, pressing down on the seal. Red ink, legal weight. He turned slightly, not toward her, toward the sign, "Do not impact." The mailbox still smoked. Someone was filming. He knew, because he set the light to catch it, just right. This wasn't the start. It was the third time. The first she did it loud. The last, she'd do it wrong. They thought he stayed because he couldn't afford to leave. They never asked what it cost to stay. The house wasn't big. It didn't need to be. It had one door, 3 steps, and a foundation his grandfather poured before the color TV. The mailbox was newer, but not by much. His father had rebuilt it after the stroke, left hand only, slow and stubborn. That post held more memory than metal. Eli never told anyone what he used to do. Didn't need to. The basement still smelled like plywood and cold solder. Old war film schematics folded in drawers, marker tape labeled in code. He once rigged a whole field to explode on cue, not with fire, but silence. He knew how to build something loud that didn't make a sound until it mattered. When the mailbox got hit the third time, he didn't swear. He just knelt. Measured from the edge of the tire mark to the buried bolt. 7 inches. Enough. That weekend, he installed a new box. Thicker, lower, unmoving. And then added one more thing. A prop sign from a shelved movie. Structural test zone, do not impact. Weatherproofed, bolted down. No one asked why it was there. No one read the reverse side. But Eli did. Under plastic laminate, calibration marker, do not disturb without clearance. Not a threat, not a warning, just a record. Placed, positioned, and waiting. Like everything else he ever built. She didn't knock, just press the paper flat, smooth the corners, step back like she was hanging a wreath. Then nodded at a neighbor across the street. Polite, robotic, practiced. Violation, structure extending into public easement. Section 4.7. The ink was fresh, the clipboard worn at the edges, the signature block already filled in. Karen Kensington didn't introduce herself, didn't have to. Everyone on this block already knew her title. HOA chair, 3 years running. She walked in straight lines, always wore shoes that clicked louder than her voice. The police officer didn't move. She just watched, arms crossed, like she was there for protocol, not judgment. Eli opened the door only after Karen walked away. Not to confront, not to speak, just to measure. He pulled the tape from his back pocket, knelt by the signpost. From ground to dent, 34 inches. Exactly. The kind of number you only get when you're trying to make impact. The kind that matches standard load testing, Class A, per Film Spec 812, revised edition. He remembered that spec because he wrote half the margin notes. She didn't know that, didn't ask, just said, over her shoulder, "We've already cleared this with legal." She didn't know the camera caught that, or that it would matter. Later, right when legal denied ever seeing the clip, a kid passed by on a red bike, slowed, watched Karen march back to her SUV, then tugged his dad's sleeve. "Why's she yelling at the mailbox?" The dad didn't answer, didn't look at Eli either, just turned them both around. The paper flapped once, then settled, still warm from her hand. And when the door shut again, Eli didn't touch it. He just stared at the measurement in his notebook, circled it once, folded the page, tucked it behind the envelope with the red seal. Not retaliation, not yet. But she'd stepped on the board, and something had already clicked underneath. Sometimes you see something small, and it stays with you longer than it should. I've stood in front of doors like that too, knowing I couldn't say what I really wanted to. If this part of the story made you feel anything, you're not alone. Leave a comment, stay a little longer, there's more to see. She posted 3 more violations, one on the door, one on the pole, one on the HOA bulletin board outside the clubhouse. Laminated. Eli didn't tear them down, didn't even touch them. He just opened a black case the next morning, pulled out a ground sensor, the kind they used for crash scenes and stunt impact prep. Old gear, still accurate. He drove the stakes deep, just beneath the mailbox base, covered the sensor in gravel, not hidden, not obvious. A tiny red symbol painted near the corner. Z3-T, a mark only he would understand. Karen didn't notice. She was busy emailing the HOA group. If he's not going to fix it, we will. For the safety of this neighborhood. 5 minutes later, she circled the post in chalk. The sensor blinked. Recorded time, GPS, vibration profile. Eli watched from the porch, tapped the side of the column, listening for reverb. It echoed just enough. He smiled slightly, just once, because now any hit would register and stay. The sensor wasn't just a detector. It was calibrated to match cinematic material tests. In court, that meant it wasn't his word. It was per data set, 0087 time-stamped authenticated. The neighbors didn't ask. One man across the street snapped a photo, quietly, didn't wave, didn't reply to HOA emails either. But 2 days later, he left a coffee on Eli's window ledge. No note, just steam. Karen hadn't noticed the shift, not in tone, not in eyes. She still thought this was about a mailbox. It wasn't. It was about proof. The kind that didn't argue, didn't yell, didn't need backup. And when the fourth hit came, the mailbox held. But the ground lit up 3 steady blinks. And Eli, he didn't even flinch. Because now, everything was recording. He didn't protest, didn't speak up in the meeting, just uploaded one document, a PDF, clean scan, time-stamped, watermarked, dated. Subject line: clarification on structural approval, March filing. No accusation, no bolded text, just one note in italics, bottom right. Approved by HOA Safety Chair, March 12th. The signature, Karen Kensington. Her own handwriting, 8 months earlier. It had slipped past her. She'd approved the design, not just the style, the exact specs of Eli's reinforced mailbox. Same bolts, same base, same impact zone. She'd even added a check mark beside compliant with traffic safety guidelines. No one said anything. But that night, the HOA group chat lit up. Screenshots, circles around her name, a side-by-side of the approval form, and her violation notice from last week. By morning, a reply came from Eli. Short, formal, final. This is simply to confirm the design remains consistent with prior approvals. No action will be taken at this time. The HOA board met again that Thursday. Karen arrived early, stack of printed bylaws in hand. Midway through, she raised a new motion to modify mailbox codes, but a hand went up. Middle-aged man. Neutral tone. Before we vote, isn't his design the one you signed off on last spring? Silence. Then, paper shuffling. Karen blinked twice. No answer. In the back, someone coughed. Another member tapped her pen. Then, an old woman leaned forward, didn't raise her voice, didn't look at anyone, just said, "We didn't all agree, dear. Some of us just stayed quiet." The tone shifted. Karen felt it. So did Eli. Back at home, he shut the laptop. The PDF had been opened 17 times. Downloaded 6. No need for a second email. He stood, took the red envelope from the drawer, placed it back in the box. Not because he lost, because the board just started asking the right questions. And once questions begin, answers come with weight, especially when your name's on both sides of the paper. She walked in like she won. Printed documents, clipboard, a contractor waiting in the truck outside. Karen didn't smile, she announced. The mailbox violates structural code. Per HOA enforcement protocol, we're removing it. Eli didn't object, didn't raise his voice, didn't even look up. Just one sentence, quiet, controlled. You might want to read footnote 3 carefully. She paused, brief but enough. Behind her, a few neighbors leaned in. Someone adjusted their glasses. Karen flipped the page, bottom corner, small print. A clause she'd highlighted herself months ago. Any structural removal is void if vehicular damage precedes enforcement. Liability transfers to the initiating party, per section 4.7.1. A second passed, then another, and like a wick finally catching, the room changed. "You hit it," someone whispered. "Last Tuesday." With your SUV, Eli didn't nod, didn't smile. He'd already posted the footage, wide angle, clear time stamp, Karen reversing, clipping the edge, hopping out like nothing happened. And now, using the same damage site. To claim it violated safety standards. A slow inhale spread through the crowd. The HOA board members turned, even the ones who backed her before. Eli remained still. Back at his house, the motion sensor camera panned. Light caught the reinforced base. No crack, no give. Built to withstand impact and prove it happened. Karen's clipboard lowered. One paper slid off the top. A child's voice piped from behind a screen door. "Is she in trouble?" An older man stood up, gray flannel, coffee in hand. "My grandson helped Eli build that box," he said. "Took them all day. We saw every bolt go in." No one laughed. No one defended her. And when Karen looked down, she saw her own highlighter, orange, underlining the clause she just violated. She didn't speak, didn't need to. The moment was already over, and the paper in her hand, it wasn't leverage anymore. It was evidence. The wall she'd built with rules just crushed her under the fine print. The next morning, the paint was still drying. He didn't call anyone, didn't post, didn't speak. Eli just walked out, laid the old plank back in its place. The lettering had faded, half of it unreadable now, but still enough. Property since 1951. He adjusted the nails with the flat of his thumb, not to make it perfect, just to make it stay. A breeze passed, no voices, no HOA trucks, no contractors measuring with clipboards. Across the street, someone closed their blinds, software respectful, and from the far corner of the neighborhood, a car rolled by, slow, careful over the edge of the curb. Inside, Karen stared ahead, tight jaw, both hands on the wheel, no sunglasses, no clipboard. The camera didn't follow her. It didn't need to. Eli took one step back, looked at the box, ran his fingers along the edge, until they stopped at the crack from 2 years ago, the one he chose not to fix. His hand lingered on the wood, then on the door frame, same spot his grandmother used to rest her coffee while waiting for the post. He didn't sigh, didn't smile, just walked in. Let the screen door click shut behind him. No words were spoken that morning, but no one touched the mailbox again. And that crack in the wooden sign, he left it, didn't sand it down, didn't paint over it, because some things aren't meant to be restored, just remembered. Not everyone fights to win. Some just want no one to touch what they kept alive for too long. He didn't celebrate, just closed the door slower than usual. No cheers, no glare of revenge, only the soft click of a mailbox, finally left alone. Some victories aren't loud. They don't arrive in fists or applause. They come as still mornings, as one less complaint, as neighbors walking slower, looking longer. The old wood still had a crack. He left it there, not as damage, as memory. Because not everything broken needs to be fixed. Some things just need to remain. Sometimes keeping what's yours is the quietest kind of justice.